the last time I talked to you, you talked about wanting to fix fumbles and ball security and everything like that. That pretty much couldn't have gone better for you on Cincinnati for Zach as far as he goes.
I thought he played really well.
Yeah.
Really took care of the football, ran our offense really well. Really pleased with it, the way he progressed. But it doesn't surprise me. He's a good player, coached by a great football coach. So I know he'd get that remedied. And we just got to do a better job as a team, taking care of the ball, getting some out ourselves, getting some turnovers. But it's always an emphasis for us to try to, win the turnover battle.
You spoke after the game about your guys' resiliency, especially with the slotbacks and the injuries that you guys had. Does it feel like that's a little bit a part of the offensive identity that you had been searching for? You found it now a little bit with Zach doing the things that you wanted him to do, the running game the way you want it to be, and the character you guys showed also?
That's always us, possess the ball and pound the football, toughness, be resilient. But I don't know if it's just us offensively, it's our team, just a team that's going to be resilient. Hopefully guys don't get hurt, but it's part of football, unfortunately, part of sports. People get hurt. In life, people get hurt. And so the next person has to stay up. It was really sad for Trey because he was having a phenomenal game. But I was happy for Josh Brown and John Brown came in and did really well. And obviously Malcolm had a phenomenal game too. And we had a young freshman in Micah Thomas came in too. So I was pleased with the young guys stepping up and doing well.
Wags asked you yesterday about Trey, but you said you would know more about Daryl after yesterday's practice.
Yeah, right now probably very questionable. It's doubtful. Okay. You know what I mean? So still got a couple more days. We'll see how it goes.
With regard to Tulsa, they played a option type team, and New Mexico doesn't run the same type of option as you. But do you think there's any advantage for them going against option 2 weeks in a row? Maybe just basic principles.
Yeah, there's basic principles of, New Mexico. So there's so much zone option.
More like Tulane.
Yeah, just very similar to Tulane. So you got to dive, you got a quarterback keep. They also got a pitch, or they can be an RPO type of deal. But the blocking schemes are so different.
Yes.
They go east and west, we go north and south.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we do is forward. And so, we're a true veer midline option team, where they're a zone team. So conceptually, there's some similarities, but we're very, very different.
That being said, were you impressed the way that they played against New Mexico defensively?
That's also did a lot of good things, and they were able to get the ball out, and cause some turnovers. I was impressed by their resiliency. And, New Mexico moved the ball a little bit, but they just kept playing.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to get the ball out. So impressed by their resolve and grit to keep grinding.
With last week, with the defense having some struggles, did it give you any pause whatsoever with your philosophy of being more aggressive? Because obviously Cincinnati found some answers.
You always look at things, you got to adjust. You can't be, bullheaded or anything. But we got to look if certain things are, we're not succeeding at, try to see how we can fix it. So, we'll see how the game goes, but we still want to be aggressive. But doesn't mean that we're not going to try to adjust during the game. So, but we'll kind of see how things go.
You obviously played pretty well on the road in your opener. You have not been on the road since. You feel good about the mindset that they can go out there in a hostile environment and get the job done?
Well, I'm excited because it's exam week, and so guys are having a ton of exams. And
now you're excited about that?
Well, I'm excited because they're going to be able to go on the road, and sleep, and get there. In fact, we load the buses right over there. I think by the time we get to gate 8, they'll be asleep.
Yeah,
they're going to be out. These guys. So I'm excited from the standpoint. I think from them to kind of get away, just sleep on the airplane, get a nap. It always bodes well for us because you can kind of take away the stress of exams and stuff.
All right, thanks.
I had something right on the top of my head, and I gotcha. With the Tulane game and also Cincinnati, is there a through line that you draw with winning games like that where there are some sticky situations? It's not like you guys ran away with them.
Well, it's kind of who we are. Last year I think we had 8 games. Strauss, we have 8 games decided by 8 points or 1 possession, and we were 5-3, right, or something like that.
Yes, that's correct.
And so our games are always close. It's I wish we could beat people like Alabama does, but we're the Naval Academy. Our games are always close, so we have to find a way to make sure we win games and don't lose them. That's why I'm such a stickler on ball security, penalties, missed assignments, because it's hard enough to win games. We don't want to lose games. You know what I mean? We don't want to give up easy scores or do things on offense because we dropped the ball or we missed assignment. So I'm encouraged by us finding ways to win close games. It kind of builds your character, kind of builds your mental toughness, and we know we're going to have a lot of those type of games.
I was always wondering about that. I didn't know if you bring up the penalties so much more than any other coach I've covered, because it's a Naval Academy thing and you guys are supposed to be clean and perfect and everything? Or
well, I play off that, knowing that they have so many rules here.
Right.
But I know here, and I know in this game, I know we're not as big or as fast or as strong as people. So we got to play mistake-free. It's just who we are. We've accepted it. It's not anything we're embarrassed about. If people are going to beat us, we want them to beat us. We don't want to beat ourselves, so it's why we emphasize it. You know, we've been the least penalized team in the last decade, and I believe that's not by chance. It's something we stress and emphasize because it's hard enough to win those games, and if you're having turnovers and penalties, you ain't going to win any of those close games. You're going to lose those games. And I think going into the fourth quarter, we're 60-something and 4, leading close going into the fourth quarter, and I think it's because we know how to finish people, and we know what it takes to win, take care of the rock, don't beat yourselves, penalties, missed assignments. It's kind of our culture.
And last one for me, I wanted to ask you about with what we saw in the NFL on Sunday and kneeling during the anthem. I know you guys aren't out on the field. Were there any conversations that you guys had with the team? Anybody who wanted to just kind of talk? Did you guys go over it?
No, well, we had something come from, our public record, because it's...
Oh, you get something that's sent down?
Well, because, we're part of the military.
Sure.
So we don't represent ourselves. We represent our institution. Obviously people are allowed to have their own opinion, but because of where we're at, we don't make any statements because we don't represent ourselves. We represent, the school. So
interesting. I didn't know that. Where does that come from? Like mascot. Okay. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it.
Well, defense had a little bit of a setback last week, a little too much yards and points. Your thoughts?
We came out strong, and then we didn't keep our foot on their throat. We reverted back to some of the stuff we did last year, but we're improving. We're going to have a good week of practice, and we're going to get after it. We're going to improve from last week.
Without giving away state secrets, anything in particular that you felt the team didn't do well? Obviously they hit on some plays. You didn't get the pressure you wanted. They did expose some things in the coverage. Anything in particular that you could say was not so good?
You just said everything. We can improve anywhere. Like, we didn't do well all around. So you just said it all around.
Going into this game against Tulsa, what are you expecting? Do you think that they're going to throw it around? Do you think they'll try to ram it down your throat with the run? I know they got a really good running back, D'Angelo Brewer, I believe is his name. He's one of the leading rushers in the country. What are you expecting out of them?
They have a great offense. They had a great offense last year. They averaged 311 on the ground, so they're going to run the ball. A lot of their tendencies are run. They have two great backs. They have a true freshman behind them. I'm not sure his name, but he's a great back too on film. And then Brewer. He was there last year. So
right, you're familiar with him.
Exactly, yeah. So great backs. They have great receivers, and President, the quarterback, he's a good player too. He's athletic. He's more athletic than their guy last year. So we got to stop him running the ball. But they love to run the ball, and that's what they do.
So, it didn't, what happened last week didn't shake your confidence. I know that, you came out with a new mentality, be more aggressive. I know it's a new style with more man-to-man, and since he was the first team that kind of, did take advantage of some things. Does it change the defense's confidence in what they're doing philosophy-wise?
No, we can't be perfect, We can make mistakes. You have bad games. Tulane, we had a good game. Since we had a bad game, the offense picked us up, So it's a team effort. There's stuff we're going to improve on every week, no matter if we pitch a shutout or if we give up 32. So I'm no confidence being shaken.
Well, obviously, I thought the defense played pretty well against Florida Atlantic and Tulane, and not so well this past week. Your thoughts?
We had a few busts, and we missed some tackles. That we made changes, some things. They played hard, and we stopped the run. That was one goal going in. They didn't have their best back, but they still had some good backs. So we just got to keep getting better at what we're doing.
They threw for 381 yards and I think 3 touchdowns. Anything in particular that you thought happened pass defense-wise?
Like I said, a couple of them were coverage mix-ups. One was a missed tackle. The first
the
screen,
jailbreak screen.
And the other one was a bad coverage that they they threw the long ball down to the one we brought Wooten up first time. So, we just got to clean that stuff up. Can't make those mistakes. And the kid had a great, he's a good quarterback. So,
Right.
We knew that going in. He hadn't been real consistent. The receivers had dropped some, but that day they didn't. He was on fire.
Does it at all, make you want to back off of the philosophy of being aggressive, playing man-to-man D? They obviously took advantage of some things. Does it?
No, not at all. We probably need to mix it up a little bit more, but no, I think we just keep getting better at what we're doing.
Do you think? Obviously it's no secret now. The other teams in the league know what you're doing. They've seen tape. Phil Montgomery even said Navy's doing something different defensively. They're a little more aggressive. In terms of what other opponents might do to scheme you, do you think there's some adjustments that will need to be made as you go forward?
Yeah, it's still it's always a growing process. It doesn't matter if we're doing the things we did in the past or we're doing them now. You have to change. You have to keep growing. I think it's helping us immensely playing the run and get more people in the box. So it's it's just something we just need to keep improving on. We got to become better man players and not make mistakes.
Right. One thing I did notice against Cincy is that there was a couple plays in which they had their inside receiver, Lewis, the Khalil guy that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
He got matched up on Micah, which probably is not a good matchup, and Jerry, I think, one time.
Yeah.
Is that something you look at, maybe to how to avoid those matchups that really are mismatches, truly?
Yeah, definitely. If you're going to play man, you've got to be able to adjust those kinds of things.